You're eating healthy, you're taking all your supplements, you're exercising, and are you still having abdominal pain, bloating, fatigue, constipation? Maybe it's not the food that you're eating. Maybe it's the hidden toxins that are disrupting your health. Some of these things we're exposed to every single day. Whether it's plastics, metals, or pesticides, they're everywhere. So today, we're going to talk about how we can minimize them in our lives. One important thing to note, we can do our best and try to minimize these toxins in our life. Especially if you live in a city, especially if you're out and about, it's impossible to completely avoid these because unfortunately, they're everywhere. But not all of us are getting sick, and most of us are perfectly fine. As long as we can control what we can and let go of the rest, because there are people that get very worried about it and they really disrupt their lives because of something in their workplace and other people's homes who they visit. But remember, it's not about perfection. It's just about progress. It's just about effort. It's really about doing the best we can and staying calm and happy in our imperfection, knowing that the world is not perfect. The world is full of toxins, but we can still stay healthy because we have resilience in our body. As long as we do our best, that is enough. Hello, and welcome to the Good Gut Feeling podcast, where we digest modern medicine with old world wisdom. My name is Dr. Alexandra Shestina, and I am your host for this weekly podcast. And I'm so excited for today's topic because we are hearing about this everywhere. And the more information that's out there, the more confusing it is. Most people have become aware that there's toxins in our food, there's toxins in our cookware, there's toxins in our homes, in our cleaning products, in our laundry detergent. But what do we choose? And what do we focus on? And what can we do to make our lives cleaner today? Even the healthiest foods may not be so healthy if they're laced with chemicals. Many conventionally grown fruits and vegetables are full of glyphosate. Glyphosate can cause inflammation. It can cause autoimmunity. It can disrupt the gut barrier. It can really cause a lot of problems. So what do we do? Well, eating organic is usually better. Organic these days is not perfect. And you may be thinking it's really confusing. And truthfully, it is, because even at its best, USD organic is typically not 100% organic. It's usually about 90%. Now the labels have become so misleading. Despite that, I still believe organic is probably better than conventional. I personally try to buy as many of my fruits and vegetables organic. And if I'm out somewhere where it doesn't exist, I don't worry about it because I can't control it and I still have to live my life. So yes, number one, try to get organic. And number two, wash your foods and veggies well. So you can use like a veggie wash, a clean veggie wash, or baking soda. You can soak some of your fruits. You really want to get those fruits clean. Sometimes it may be even better to peel them. I'm going to even give you another reason why organic foods may be better than conventionally grown. So we know about the toxins and the pesticides, but think about it. Think about Darwin's survival of the fittest. If a living organism, in this case a plant, is growing under harsh conditions or normal conditions with bugs, only strong plants will survive. The weaker ones will likely not survive because they are challenged with bugs. So we generally get the plants that are genetically the strongest. Now, when we take away these challenges and the plants can grow easily because the bugs are non-existent or the bugs are significantly diminished, then we can get genetically weaker plants. So for two important reasons, organic is often better. Number one is that the chemicals are much less. And number two is that the plants are stronger. Are you microwaving plastics? Because you may be flavoring your foods with hormone disruptors. Plastics have a lot of chemicals. BPA is one of them. It's a bad one. And sometimes we see plastics that are BPA free, but it's not enough because there are other chemicals in plastics that are harmful to our hormonal system. They're potent endocrine disruptors, and phthalates can leach into food. They're especially effective in getting in our foods with heat. So if you are heating your foods in plastic, you are expediting the process of the plastics getting into our foods. The microwave is the worst place to use plastics because the heat is high and we're really, and most of the microwave safe containers are plastic. So if you are going to use the microwave, and we will discuss the microwave because that has issues in and of itself, but if you are going to use the microwave, use glass, use ceramic, use other microwave safe containers, but don't use plastics. It's not only in plastic containers. They're also in plastic water bottles. They're also in, these days, we're hearing they're also in glass water bottles in the lid that can have harmful plastics. They line some cans. So a lot of our cans are lined with plastics, and some of them say BPA free, which is better. But there's still a lot of times plastics in the cans. So what can you do? Water filters are the best, because then you're not exposed to any of the plastic bottles or the plastic lined tops for the glass water bottles. Number 2, use glass whenever possible. Glass food containers, glass bottles. So for example, I make my own plant-based milk. I used to, at one time, put them in plastic containers. Now I use glass ball jars. They're super easy to get, to wash, to reuse, and they're more durable. Anyway, I try to minimize all the plastic in my home. Your microwave could be doing more than just heating your food. It could be microwaving your cells. Microwaves emit a non-ionizing radiation that can literally disrupt your cell function, affect the mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of the cell. So ideally, never use your microwave. The best way to heat foods is on the stove or in the oven. I personally store my books in my microwave. I find that to be a great utilization of the microwave. But if you have to use it, make sure you don't use plastic. But if you don't have to use it, it just takes, maybe a few more minutes to heat the food on your stove. And I also use leftovers. Leftovers are great. I don't have time to cook every day. I don't always like to eat out. So you can literally take your leftover food, put it on a flame. If you need to use some good oil, avocado oil or coconut oil for high heat or olive oil for medium heat, and you can just heat it up on the stove or just throw it into the oven. And it does take a few more minutes, but you save yourself a lot of health. Number 4, you detox your diet. But what about your laundry? Laundry detergents have lots of chemicals, from bleach to artificial fragrances to formaldehyde to ammonia. All these things, we do not want them in our clothes. They can trigger all sorts of issues, from allergies to respiratory issues to hormonal issues. Try to get clean detergents. They exist. They are harder to find because these days a lot of the smaller companies that are more reliable are being bought up by corporate, and they're becoming less transparent, but they exist. And as some of the other bigger ones are becoming less reliable, there's more smaller companies coming out with good, clean products. Now, this applies to your dish detergent, to your laundry detergent, to your cleaning products at home. Cleaning products at home are also full of chemicals if you get conventional, regular, store-bought product. But there's certain things that can be used that are so easy and cheap and effective. White vinegar is a great cleanser. You can take Castile soap, some kind of clean soap, mix it with the vinegar. It's a great universal cleaner. And it's non-toxic. So for those of us that have animals living at home, I cannot use a toxic product on my floor because my dog will lick the floor. So what do you want to do? This is where you want to make sure that your products are clean, that your animal is safe, that you're safe. Because even if you're not eating off the floor, you're smelling that. You're inhaling that. That's a really easy way to keep your house clean. Now, if you like fragrance, a lot of fragrances are also pretty toxic, but you can use natural essential oils, and they can add a really nice fragrance that can smell very similar to the commercial ones, like lavender oil or lemongrass. Smell great, and they're pretty accessible, and you can add them to your products, your cleaning products, to your detergents. I personally don't feel the need to, but if you do, it's certainly possible. And some of them are already pre-made natural. So you can sometimes get natural dryer sheets or natural fabric softeners that don't have toxic fragrances. Number 5, this is a big one. Toiletries and makeup. What you put on your skin ends up in your bloodstream. It is not as much, but your skin still absorbs. So what you put on your skin should be clean. If you don't want it in your body, don't put it on your skin. Really common things that are used in toiletries: aluminum, in antiperspirant, is in every single antiperspirant. So get deodorant that doesn't have antiperspirant. And they're out there because it should say aluminum-free deodorant. They're everywhere these days because it's becoming more known that aluminum is not good. And number two, you want to sweat. No, I get it. You don't want to smell. So that's where the deodorant comes in. But sweating is actually good because sweating is a release of waste. So just like you don't want to be constipated and not go to the bathroom, you don't want to not sweat. So you want to get a product that will enhance the smell without preventing you from releasing the sweat. And these are the aluminum-free deodorants. And you know what? Actually, you can even use lemon under your arms. If you're sensitive, don't do that, but it works really well. But things like parabens, phthalates, artificial fragrances are found in cosmetics and in beauty products. So get ones that say clean, say chemical free, say all natural. Really do your research. I personally started making my own face cream. I love it. It works really well. People love it. I give it as gifts. It's so not hard. There's so many great ways you can find to mix and match, whether it's using shea butter or coconut oil and all different kinds of essential oils and carrier oils. They smell great. They work well, and they're clean and non-toxic. For makeup, there are more and more non-toxic lines coming out, and many stores are carrying them. There are some stores that are dedicated exclusively to natural makeup. So do your research. There are great lines. I remember when I was in the first few years of my practice and I was eating healthy and exercising, but I had regular makeup. And I remember one of my patients came in and was like, she shamed me. She told me like she couldn't believe that I was using regular makeup. And I felt bad. I felt like a hypocrite. So I went and I did my research, and there are companies that will literally help you swap out. So if you like one luxury brand or drugstore brand, they will swap it out for something comparable and similar, and they're good and they're high quality. You can find some great products that are now clean. Number 6, and this is another biggie, your cookware. Your cookware may be feeding you more than just food. Heavy metals and aluminum can be found in a lot of cookware, and it's pretty toxic when heated. Most of the pans and pots that are non-stick, unless they are non-stick because they are lined with ceramic, are pretty toxic. And when heated, that's when the toxins really leach into your food. So avoid aluminum, like aluminum baking pans. Avoid anything that has Teflon or other type of non-stick chemical. So what do you cook with? You should cook with ceramic, glass, stainless steel, or cast iron. Those are usually pretty good. Number 7. This is a toxin that many of us don't even think about, and that's EMFs, Wi-Fi, and cell phone radiation. They can cause oxidative stress, increased gut permeability, mitochondrial dysfunction, and suppression of melatonin affecting sleep. But they are everywhere. But you can control some of the things. Number 1, when you sleep, it's super important that those things are turned off or not right next to your head, because when we're sleeping, we're in parasympathetic mode. Then it's easier for us to be affected by what's in our environment. Best practice is turn off your Wi-Fi at night. Don't sleep with your phone in your room or put your phone on airplane mode. This is especially true for kids, for people with anxiety, for people with sleeping disorders, for people with difficulty concentrating. These energy toxins really affect our mental health. One thing that I've seen more and more people do is wear the Bluetooth earpods. Bluetooth is another way that we are introducing these dangerous waves into our body. And this is directly into our head. So you know what I use? I use those old school $15 plug-in headphones. And you know what? They're so much safer. Clean living is not a trend. It's returning back to yourself, to the way that we lived for thousands of years before we became so complex with all this technology. So one thing at a time, one small step at a time, just your best effort. And that's good enough, because the biggest toxins are usually what's in our head. So if it's going to cause you stress to worry about makeup, then don't do it. Maybe you're not ready, but maybe in a month when you're already settled, that's when you'll reconsider. For me, that's what it was. It was progress. I didn't start everything at once. First, I started with food. Then I started with cookware. Then I started with cleaning products, then makeup. And I moved on as my life became cleaner. And you know what? I'm still not perfect, but I'm okay with that. So stay healthy, stay gutsy. I look forward to seeing you all next week. If you like what you've heard, please subscribe, share. We have so much more on wholegut.com, and see you all next week.